Welcome back. Are you looking to make a difference in the world? You've got an idea for how to solve a social issue or make some positive change, but you're not quite sure, should I be in social entrepreneurship or should I be looking at a nonprofit? You're in luck because today we're going to go over the difference between the two, and we're going to talk about why one might be a better fit than the other depending on your situation. Also, in my years as a business coach, I have met hundreds of nonprofit organizations. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of times they would have been more successful and had more reach had they gone the route of social entrepreneurship over nonprofits. So we're going to really break it down and show you which one is going to be best for you. So here's what you're going to get in today's video. We're going to start off with the definition of social entrepreneurship and how it's different from nonprofit. We're going to talk about the reasons why you should pick one over the other. And we are going to dive into a revenue plan, because either way, you have to have a revenue plan and you have to have a plan to actually grow the reach of your organization. And my friends, I am going to tell you the 3 things that can absolutely kill your impact and reach, so that you know what to avoid. I'm Amy Walker, your biz bestie. If you've ever wished that you had a best friend who just happened to know a lot about business, you are in luck, because in this playlist, I'm giving you the real story about business. So what is social entrepreneurship? It is cause-driven business, a business that is designed to solve a problem. If you look at Bombas, one of the most successful Shark Tank ventures ever, they started their business because they saw a problem that the number one thing requested from homeless shelters was socks. And so they thought, how could we best solve this problem? And they built a business model around solving that problem. I guarantee you, Bombas has donated more socks than any local sock drive put on by a nonprofit organization. So sometimes social entrepreneurship is the best way to go when you're trying to solve a social issue, because it's designed to create a revenue model that directly solves the problem. You buy a pair of Bombas socks, they donate a pair to a shelter. So what is a nonprofit? It's actually a tax exemption status. It means that you are a not-for-profit organization, an NPO, and it doesn't mean that you can't make money. It doesn't mean that you can't get paid. It does mean that you have rules around how you make the money, where the money goes, and how much people can get paid in order to keep that tax exemption status. Why would you choose a 501c3 versus a social enterprise? Years ago, I was just making the same decision, and I went to the IRS website, and they actually had this list of don't be a 501c3 if you're only doing it for these reasons. And reasons were if you think you're going to get more donations from companies. Because here's the thing, companies can write off money that they give you if you're a social enterprise as marketing exposure, versus they can write it off as a charitable donation. It still comes out of their taxes as expenses. So there were certain specific guidelines, and when I went through it, all of the reasons why I thought I should be a nonprofit were actually not really relevant. So let's kind of pare it down to why I would go one direction or another. This is just advice according to Amy. I would recommend being a nonprofit organization, a 501c3 or one of the different entities, if you are going to put together a board and you want to be able to have a group of decision makers that are moving this forward, and you're really trying to create something that is running beyond you. If you want to have a lot of control over it, you don't want to have to answer to a board, and you want to be able to spend your money any way that you see fit, that you see is going to make the best impact, then I would go social entrepreneurship. Control is a big deciding factor. You have to have a board as a nonprofit organization. And the nonprofits that really do well, they have a very active and very involved board that makes all of the decisions, and they expand their reach. The ones that tend to stay small are the ones where they should have been a social enterprise because they wanted a lot of control, but instead they registered as a 501c3 so that they could get the tax benefits and they could get the donations, but now they don't have enough people to really go after all of the donations and really utilize the tax benefits. So if you want control over how you make and spend your money, I would go with social entrepreneurship. Now, either way you decide to go, what you really need is a revenue plan. Too many people start out with a giving plan and what they're going to do to give back, but they don't ever figure out where are those funds coming from. I would start with a revenue plan. How are you going to make money and bring money in? Now, in social entrepreneurship, a lot of times that's a product sale. Like, we're going to sell products and X percentage is going to go back to this contribution, or we're going to do a one-for-one match. When you're a nonprofit, you still have to have a plan for how is the money coming in, because you cannot subsist just off of like donations alone. There has to be funding. So is it coming from grants? Is it coming from donors? Is it coming from fundraising galas? What are you going to do in order to bring the money in to be able to redistribute? A revenue plan is essential if you want to make an impact. Even Mother Teresa, when she died, do you know she left behind about $100 million in her foundation? She may not have spent the money on herself, but man, did that lady know how to make some sales. So this begs the question, how do I create a revenue plan? You need to understand what you are selling and how many units of it you need to sell in order to hit the revenue goals. So in a nonprofit organization, you might be selling sponsorship packages, you might be selling tickets to a gala, but you have to know, what is it that I'm selling? People don't want to just give you money. I'm sorry to say. As much as they might be companies who love donating to charities, they want to donate to charities where there's something that they get back from it. What do they get from their sponsorship? So make sure that your basically your product, your package that you're selling is really clearly defined, and you know, how many units do I need to sell in order to hit my goal, so that I can then go out and create the impact I want to create in the community. So really like dial it down and you'll be good to go. All right, now we're going to get into Amy's pet peeve moment, because like I mentioned, I have come across so many nonprofit organizations in my career as a business coach. They show up for my marketing conferences, for my sales conferences, because they want to increase their impact. And there are 3 killers that I see that just keep their reach so small and keep them from hitting really the impact that they could and should be making. So number 1 is money issues. Sometimes they chose to go the path of nonprofit instead of social entrepreneurship because truthfully, they got a lot of money issues and they feel bad collecting money. Maybe they grew up really poor, or maybe they know that the people that they want to serve are really poor, and so they feel bad asking for and collecting money. That will kill your reach, because like I mentioned, Mother Teresa had a lot of money. That is how she did so much good in the world. Her foundation was really, really good at bringing in money. Check your money issues. Number 2 is a savior complex. You cannot save everybody. You just can't. And so when you're trying to save people who don't actually want to be saved, or they're not willing to go through the process of being saved, it becomes like a drain. And you never get this like re-fulfillment that goes on. So if you'll aim a little bit higher to the people who really want change, and you'll change those people's lives, they become your advocates for your next round of change. And that's how you create something that is like, it's got a perpetual fulfillment of it, because you influence one generation, they influence the next generation. And that's how you grow your reach. The third thing that I see is people who are afraid of going after the real change agents. I'm going to just make up an example here. This is not directed towards anyone, but let's say that you want to stop homelessness, and the only thing that you're doing is trying to help homeless people, but you're not actually going to the lawmakers and to the social health organizations and emotional and mental health. Like, if you're not going towards the places that really create change, then you will forever be taking care of one person instead of aligning yourself with the people who are already doing massive amounts of social change. This is the way that I choose to fulfill my aspect of social entrepreneurship. I am not starting a nonprofit organization. What I'm doing is I'm aligning myself with the people who are already making big changes, and then I am donating time and resources and connections to those people. So it is allowing us to be able to get a lot done without me having to go through all of the legwork. So I start off the video this way. I love the fact that you want to make big changes in the world and that you want to have big impact. I want you to do that. My question for you is, what is the best way that you can truly create massive impact? Is it aligning yourself with something that already exists, a nonprofit that already exists? Is it creating a social entrepreneurship venture where it's like a 1-for-1? Or is it that you need to start the next big nonprofit and get a lot of people involved with it? I don't know the answer for you, but I hope that this has been helpful in guiding you towards what is going to be the right step for you. So now you know how social entrepreneurship is different than nonprofit organizations. And the next video that I want you to watch is, what is the foundation for successful business? Go check it out, because you know you're going to need some cash coming into this if you want to make some impact. So go watch that next video.